What is good, everybody? Just wanted to check in with you guys and give a little update of what I'm looking at today in the markets. Today is November 2nd, 2022. And without any further ado, we're just going to go ahead and break down a few pairs I've been looking at. The market has been a little wishy-washy with a news of hiked rates a little earlier from Mr. Powell in the Federal Reserve. So that affected the markets a little bit, but I feel like we've been shown direction with some nice impulsive candles on some of these pairs. And now we're just going to go ahead and see if we can take advantage of some trades. I'm actually in four shorts right now for Asia session today. And let's go ahead and go over the first pair. So first of all, we have euro dollar. We can just start on the daily chart here. We can identify a couple things right off the bat. We are trading within these channels here. Um, just to kind of get an overall higher time frame structure going on. We do have this nice big retrace candle there that was a few days ago. Nice high test candles in here, and we're looking for a continuation. Now, more importantly, if we get down to the lower time frames, the reason why I entered this trade is because we do in fact have a double top right here. This double top is kind of two head and shoulders in one. You can see another head and shoulders over here. There's just a bunch of bearish um, momentum and patterns forming, and you can argue that there is a another one over here as well. So just a bunch of head and shoulders. I really like what that looks like right off the bat. So head and shoulders, and then we have smaller head and shoulders within that as well. So just a bunch of confirmation showing that price is getting really tired of moving to the upside. Not only that, if we kind of go in here, we can start to see some flags showing in here. We had a nice flag form right there. So, overall, we're looking for some shorts. And we can go ahead and talk about targets now on this. So, typically, what I like to do is I like to measure from the base of the double top and then up to the peaks. So, right about there, we have about 400 pips. We can expect to see that if this does in fact sell off, and you can see how it kind of just lovely lines up with the outer end of this trend line right here. So it makes sense to me. Currently, I'm selling it right now because I've seen this really really nice high test candle right here. So that was a little bit earlier today with the news announcements, and that's going to go ahead and set me up for some possible sells. And the reason why that is because it's showing that there's a lot of rejection to the upside right there. And basically, from right here, what we could basically expect is just a move down and some correction, and then continue uh, all the way down. Just some nice bear flags. Hopefully, we can get that. That's what I'll be looking out for on euro dollar. Really like that. That kind of goes with the DXY buying a little bit. The next one that I'm looking at and that's kind of my favorite was what we talked about yesterday, which is euro yen. Euro yen looks very nice on the 4 hour chart. We have this three touch structure, and then we have another structure within itself. Um, what I really like about this as well is that if we go down to the 1 hour chart, we can just start to see a lot of these candles being high test. There's a lot of bear flags in there as well. Kind of hard to look at it, but you just got to mark them up and just be really good at identifying those flags, because that's what's going to help you guys be able to identify how to predict the market direction. So that looks pretty good. We're at the very top here. We're above highs. We're above this double top here. So I think that it's a good opportunity to sell, and to sell for quite a long distance down. I mean, the risk to reward in this trade is obviously there. We're talking a 7-to-1 to the bottom of that structure, and an 11-to-1 to the bottom of this structure before that. So that's what I'm targeting. I think short term we're going to be targeting around 144. I think that's a pretty good goal for tonight at least. And I'll be looking for the continuing selling on that. And if I see any scaling opportunities, best believe I'll be taking advantage of those too. I know the market's been a little choppy recently, but hopefully we start to move into some more impulsive phases. So that's going to be euro yen. The next pair that I really like and that's really flooding right now is NZDJPY. So we can argue that these trend lines somewhat look like this. But I've been doing this long enough to understand how to evolve my trend line. So what I like to do is just kind of make them look a little off balance. You can kind of have these coming through here, but again, what are we looking at overall? We're just looking at this real corrective price action. Look at that corrective price action. Price was ranging for, 5 or 6 days last week. And then as we get lower to the lower time frames, what do we have here? Well, we have a beautiful, beautiful head and shoulders pattern that formed at the top. So that's showing you that price is starting to come up. It starts to fade out. It starts to head and shoulder out, and it starts to reverse. Basically, price is losing its momentum from the buys from down here. And then you can see the double bottom that played out very nicely on this pair that I called that actually probably about a week ago. Now the buy was kind of hard to hold through all these big moves right here, but that's just the double bottom playing out. Eventually it's gotten to the top part where we've achieved a profit goal for that certain buy. If we just measure that and then we measure it over here, we can see how basically, we got that same amount of movement about to the exact pip, and now we're starting to reverse. So ideally, the 1 hour chart looks really good for this. I really like the way that looks. The head and shoulders, the ascending channel on the 4 hour, very clean. I can expect this to sell the rest of the week. If we do get some type of bear flag on the way down, you can almost guarantee I'm going to scale in. I have no problem doing that. So I'll look out for any flags on the way down to confirm additional trades, and I'll also post them in the chat so you guys could see what I'm talking about. But for right now, like Asia session, we're already up almost 1%, running about $700 in profit on that. That's looking pretty solid. If I see a flag or anything in that sense in that area, best believe I'll go ahead and scale in on a position just to go ahead and add as much profit and risk to reward as I can to that trade. But that trade right there looking pretty good for Asia session right off the bat. We're all in profit on all trades right now, so I'm pretty content. The last one I want to talk about is Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar has been kind of playing around a little bit earlier with the USD DXY news. You can see that spike. It was possible that we were going to buy up, but again, look at that high test candle showing that exhaustion, showing the exhaustion. So you can also see the head and shoulders pattern in there too. I mean, these head and shoulders patterns are everywhere. You're going to be able to see them on all time frames. And it's basically just telling you that price is exhausted. Again, we're going to measure from the neckline to the top of the head for a profit target, and that just happens to line up perfectly with this low here. So again, we're selling this in Asia session. We're running about $600 in profit. We'll go to the 4 hour quick just to get a good overall picture. I mean, we have plenty of room to the downside still. So that looks really solid, really impulsive. I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple other pairs I'm looking at, but I'm not really too involved in them. Pound Aussie has just kind of been playing around here. I'm looking for this to break the neckline and then form a retest along the line. This is a real big corrective pattern. It's been correcting since October 22nd. So I really feel like, we can get into this and finally get some moves. Looking at CAD yen, I actually closed this position earlier today, but it is still running in profit. I'm not really too interested in it anymore. It's too close to these lows to be considered selling. So I'm just going to let that one ride. There's a couple other pairs that I'm looking at, but I don't really see anything too promising. But for the most part, we're all in profit on all four pairs as of right now. We're going to go ahead and continue to monitor throughout the night and see what we come up with. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And, we'll go ahead and help you out. Thanks.